Thank you very much for watching Cooking Ala LaLa. I'm glad you could join us. When we started this show, it was when the country changed because of the coronavirus pandemic. And now the country has changed again because of the death of George Floyd. And we are now having conversations that are difficult, uncomfortable, and overdue. And I just hope that we can all listen to our neighbors and listen to the strangers in our lives and hopefully hear some things that we didn't know before that will make us better people. Enjoy the show. Down on the ground. Look at our little baby cucumbers. What is that, 2 inches? Little fellas, look at the little fella. See that? So lots of pollinators we're seeing out today, which is great news. Look at all these flowers with the little tiny cucumber. These are a Boston pickling cucumber. And these on this end get a lot more light. They start getting more light in the morning than these down here. So they're doing much better. But you can see how they just grab a hold and they don't let go. It's like a little baby holding on to your pinky. So it's called a delicatas. It's a German cucumber. Look at him taking a little nap on that leaf there. And the pollinators are all over the place. This is a very good sign. Okay, this is a Cherokee purple. Look at these fruits that are coming along here. So beautiful. And oops, there's a sucker I missed. Here's a sucker I missed. But the plants are just growing and growing. And see, as they get taller and taller, I'll keep tying them so they're anchored to the stake. I'm really pleased so far. I think looks like we're gonna have a good harvest. Continuing with the progress report, this is our row of beans. These are Roma 2 beans, which is kind of a broad bean. It's one of those beans that you'll cook a long time like your grandmother used to do. It looks like we've had some sort of insect eating some of the leaves. So we planted some more down here where they didn't germinate, and those are coming up real nicely. And you can see over here our lettuces. They have done what we call bolting, and that's when it gets warm and they want to set seeds out. So this is an arugula that's gone to flower, which is great because that's where you get the seeds, but this arugula doesn't taste good anymore. Nor does this. See how this has gone up? So these are going to be really tough and bitter. So we had a good run. We ate a lot of salad, but we're not going to eat this. It's going to go in the compost. But luckily our spinach has not bolted yet. So we're going to pick some of that so we can make some Saag Paneer. And we're going to pick some of the mint so we can make a mint chutney. Oh, we are going to use some radishes that I picked the other day. So we've got a lot of things from the garden we're going to use in our recipes today. Okay, this is one of our dahlias that we planted. Isn't it beautiful? This one's name is Brigitte Alida. And I put all their names here so we know. I'm going to clip this one so we can take it home and enjoy it. Isn't it beautiful? And down here we've got one that's kind of a snowy white. So I'm going to clip that. See, there's more uses for a jelly jar than just putting wine in it. I brought a little jelly jar out here. Don't tip over. Isn't that pretty? And then we've got all of these zinnias here. We're going to have a beautiful little bouquet. Wish my mama were here. I could take her a bouquet. How sweet is that? All right, we're going to get some mint. This is the mint that belongs to Mr. Lovell, but he has welcomed us to use some of it. This looks like a chocolate mint. Yeah, we're not going to use that though. And yeah, we're going to use this to make, oh, look, here's a 4-leaf clover. Ha! It's our lucky day. We're going to cook Indian food today. The reason I chose Indian, besides the fact that I love it, we had a ton of spinach in the garden, we had mint, we still have some radishes. We're kind of waiting for the cucumbers and the tomatoes and the eggplants. That's all coming, and those are all great ingredients for Indian cuisine. But I just love this food. It's so fresh and delicious. It's the one cuisine I can think of that I could survive as a vegetarian on because it's spiced so amazingly. Today we're going to do a tikka, a fish tikka, which is pieces of fish marinated in yogurt, ginger, garlic, and spices. We're doing a saag paneer, which is spinach and paneer cheese, which is also delicious. Spiced potatoes, and what else? And perhaps, if we have time, a mint chutney with mint that we picked at the garden today. So we will be looking at lots of spices and lots of garlic and lots of ginger, so come on in. First thing, we're going to talk about the tikka. This is a fish tikka. I have already marinated it, but I wanted to walk you through what we did. I got a pound of fish, firm fish. We're going to grill it. You can put it in the oven at high temperature, but basically a cup of yogurt, not vanilla, plain, not low fat, full fat. You know how I operate here. And we're going to do a puree or make a paste, a ginger garlic paste. A lot of the recipes that you will see in Indian cookbooks, Indian cooking, is you're going to have a lot of garlic and a lot of ginger. I am taking the skin off of this garlic just to show you. You can do it very easily with the tip of a spoon if you don't want to use a knife. And I'm going to, where am I going to put this? I'm going to put it in the compost because that's where it goes. Okay, I've already chopped up a little bit of ginger and put it into this little mini prep, but here's a little bit more. And I had some garlic left over from something that I did earlier. And we're just going to give this a buzz. I'm not going to do it right now because it's super loud and it makes me cranky. But when we come back, I'm going to show you what this ginger garlic paste looks like. Okay, so I have buzzed this in this little mini prep probably about 3 times, zzz, 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 and then scrape down the sides, and we have this lovely, unbelievably aromatic mixture, equal parts roughly of ginger and garlic. So for this marinade, for the fish, you're not going to have a lot of these in your regular pantry. You might have ground coriander. You probably might have ground turmeric, chili pepper, ground cumin. Most everybody has cumin. What most people will not have, and you don't need to use this for this preparation, I did because I had it, is Ajuan seed. It kind of has looks like celery, has a little bit of, it smells like thyme a little bit, so you could probably throw some dried thyme in if you wanted to approximate this. Teaspoon each of these spices, about 4 or 5 tablespoons of lemon juice, and a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. Mix that up with some salt and put your fish or your chicken pieces in there and let it marinate, which is what it's doing right now. We're going to put it on the grill later. And it will be the most delicious, flavorful, tenderized meat that you will ever have. Saag Paneer is the most wonderful dish, I think. Paneer is a cheese. It's kind of like cottage cheese that got pressed into a brick. This is the wrapper. They come in 14 or 28 ounce packages. You can get it at the DeKalb Farmers Market. I don't think you can get it at Publix or Kroger. I get mine at Patel Brothers grocery store in Decatur. Anyhow, I've done some of it, and I'm gonna throw some more. It will sizzle and jump. It will not melt. This is the thing about paneer. It's like that halloumi cheese that Liz Stinson told me about. Everybody's eating it. Try it. Halloumi. But no, try paneer. And we're just going to get this a little bit of color. I've put some vegetable oil in here. And this is what it looks like after you've toasted it in this oil. And that's going to go into our spinach mixture, which I'm going to show you next. Roscoe was outside and he wouldn't come in, so I said, come get some paneer. Paneer, fella, paneer. Sit. Paneer. Mmm. The saag, part of Saag Paneer or Saag Paneer is spinach. And you need a blank ton of spinach for your Saag Paneer. We picked all the spinach today at the garden, and it was a ton, and it took forever to clean, and we still have some more. It was up to the top of here. Look, you know how much spinach shrinks down, okay? So I'm gonna put the rest of it in here and finish steaming it. You could use frozen spinach in a pinch. It certainly would be a lot easier, but you wouldn't get to brag about how much work you did for your guests. Okay, all of that spinach melted down to this much spinach. Next, we're going to put it into, you could chop it by hand if you want to, if you'd like to have a rougher dish and more, a rough chop. If you want it smoother, I would put it into a food processor. I'm going to do this in 2 batches, but you can see what we're doing. We're going to chop the spinach up however much. You could just do a couple of pulses or you could go crazy. Moving on, the greatest ingredient, garlic. Okay, I've demonstrated this, and I'm sure everybody out there knows about how you get the skin off of a clove of garlic. Just wham it with the flat side of your knife, and then the skin just pulls right away. If it's being cooperative, it's being cooperative. And then just give it a chop, 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 chop. Watch your fingers. So this is about, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. I like my food really garlicky. Anybody who's been on stage with me knows that. So we've got a ton of garlic. Garlic just rears its head in all these dishes that we're doing, which is great. All right, here's our pan. I've put a little bit of ghee, G-H-E-E, clarified butter. Actually, I think I want a little bit more. And since it's warm in the kitchen, this is kind of melted in its own pot. What we're going to do here is get this hot, and we're going to add a teaspoon of cumin seeds. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to do a little bit more than a teaspoon. This is about 2 pounds of spinach. You don't need that much, but I love this, so I always make an obscene amount. All right, so we're going to let these heat up until they start to kind of pop and sizzle. It's not happening yet. Our cumin seed is making a ruckus, so in goes the garlic. You always want to make sure when you're sauteing garlic that you don't let it get burned, because then it will taste bitter. So I'm going to lower the heat here a little bit and let this have some pretty color. It smells divine. You can smell the cumin and the garlic. We're going to let this brown, and then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, which is a very warm, kind of woodsy spice. It's not spicy. It's more, you would have it in a cookie or a dessert. It's that kind of spice. If you don't know it, I love it. And some chili powder. I'm going to put those 2 in. And just let that cook a little bit, maybe a minute. Let the heat kind of work its magic on those spices that we put in. And then I'm going to add the spinach that we have pureed or roughly chopped. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Woo! I love that sound. What time is it? Why, 2 more minutes till jelly jar time. Okay, so we're just going to stir this around, get those spices and get this garlic. I'm going to give it its first little taste of salt. I think 3/4 of a teaspoon to start. And we're just going to let this cook and let these spices get to know the main deal. And we're going to come back and add our paneer and our heavy cream, and we will have the most wonderful and beautiful Indian vegetable that I think anyone could ever eat. What's wrong with this picture? Roscoe, come here. Would you like some chicken? Come get some chicken. Look at what I have trained my dog to do. He's bringing in my jelly jar. Good boy. Cheers. Isn't it amazing? I have trained my dog to bring me a Boda box. It's amazing. He hasn't learned how to put his thumbs on the spigot yet, but we're getting there. All right, we have let the spinach cook, and now we're going to add our beautiful pieces of fried paneer. And we're just going to stir this. Oh gosh, this just reminds me of my favorite things to eat. And I'm going to add a little bit, maybe a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. You don't have to do this, but I like heavy cream. It explains a lot, doesn't it? And don't think that Roscoe was hurt during that training exercise. He enjoyed it because he gets chicken or a piece of paneer. You want some paneer? I think he's coming back for some more paneer. Then there won't be enough in the dish. Okay, so here is our saag paneer. Isn't it beautiful, healthy? Look at that vibrant green color, straight out of the garden. Cheers. We're moving on to spiced potatoes. This is the most interesting dish. And you can see here, we have new potatoes, but we're using cardamom, we're using whole cloves, we're using cumin seed, bay leaf, whole cinnamon, onion, serrano peppers, that ginger and garlic paste. So it's got a lot going on. It's got some heat, but it's also got some of these warmer spices. I'm gonna cut these potatoes. I've peeled a little bit, but I like to have a little bit of color. And we're going to just boil the potatoes until they are soft. This is the puree that we are going to use as the base for our potatoes. Remember earlier we did the classic garlic ginger paste, equal parts garlic, equal parts ginger. And we used that in our marinade for the tikka. So to that, I'm going to add a medium onion and a serrano pepper chopped. I might go back and add a little, we'll see if this has enough heat. But you can see this is all going into the mini prep. And we're going to pulse this until it's a puree. And I'll test it to see what the heat level is, if it needs a little more of this or that. But then we will move towards finishing our potato dish. Look at our beautiful puree of ginger, garlic, and serrano pepper. We're also going to put about a tablespoon of lemon. That looks like about a tablespoon. I'll probably end up adding more because I love lemon, as y'all know. I love lemon. And I think it needs a little more heat, so I'm just going to put a little bit more serrano. And we will whir this up. I know I'm shiny. It's hot in this kitchen, but I can take the heat. Moving on down the highway for the spiced potatoes dish. I have put some ghee in here, probably 2 or 3 tablespoons. You can use vegetable oil if you like. And I have a bay leaf, a few cloves of clove, that would be 3 cloves. 2 or 3 green cardamom pods, whole. And we're just gonna let these hang out in here until they swell. It's swollen. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of turmeric. And when those get to know each other in there, I'm going to add this beautiful ginger, garlic, chili pepper paste. It was a Serrano chili pepper. And I want to give a shout out to two of the books that I love. I think this was one of my first Indian cookbooks. It's Diane Seed. It's beautifully illustrated. And it's just wonderful. The thing about Indian recipes, they'll have these long-ass lists of ingredients, which can be intimidating. But then the stuff that you have to do is just not that long. And I love that. This is another one. 1,000 Indian recipes. I'm going to take this off the heat while I talk about these books because I don't want those spices to burn. Neelam Batra, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but it talks about recipes from all over the country, from the north and the coast, Kerala, Goa. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful cookbook. They have pressure cooker recipes with a little, it's just wonderful. And again, you see these really long, lists of ingredients, but the to-do, actually that one was kind of long. The to-do is usually not that long. It's just organizing your ingredients and prepping your pastes and your garlic and your ginger. But once you have everything done, it doesn't take that long. And it's a great cuisine if you just like to play with food, if you like to touch a knobby piece of ginger, or you like to go to bed with garlic on your fingertips. Anyhow, I'm going to add this and stir that in, and then when we come back, we'll add our paste. Okay, so our spices have warmed up, and you can really smell the heat brings out the flavor and the aroma. I'm just going to put this beautiful puree. Ooh, I love that sound. I'm sure there's a more elegant way of doing this, but I'm not an elegant person, people. I can be when it comes to award season. Very elegant. High heels, painted on cheekbones. Just kidding. I don't want to let any of this slip away. Like a summer love affair. I don't want it to stop. All right, so we're going to let this cook about 10 minutes. And by that point, our potatoes will be done. And we'll throw those in with our cinnamon stick. Look at that beautiful color. I mean, you just can't beat the flavors and the colors in Indian cuisine. Our potatoes are done, drained. I'm going to put those in. I'm going to throw in our cinnamon stick. Sharp. And a couple of ounces of water. Wine is not the only thing you put in a jelly jar. We put these beautiful flowers in a jelly jar at the garden today. Aren't they lovely? Who's prettier? Huh? Who's prettier? Just kidding. All right, so we're just going to let these simmer. I'm going to put the lid on it. And when we are done with these, soaking up all this flavor that's in this paste and these spices, we're going to add some garam masala powder. I could have just memorized this like it was a script, and y'all know I can do that. There's so many great, I'm just going to read: coriander powder, red chili, clove, cinnamon, warm spices, ground curry leaves, dried mango, which has kind of a tartness to it, bay leaves, cumin, fennel. Anyhow, there's just so many wonderful, different, exciting, dynamic flavors that goes into garam masala. And what we're going to do is we will finish this dish when we're ready to serve it with some fresh cilantro and some garam masala powder. But I'm going to put the lid on this, and we're almost home. Cheers. All right, we're in the back stretch. Remember Tikka? We started with Tikka. This has been marinating. And I have put the pieces of fish on these skewers. These are metal skewers that we had. This one's a little bit shorter. I don't know how my little contraption is going to work, but we'll figure that out. A lot of people have these bamboo skewers. If you use these, soak them in water, because if you put them on the grill dry, they'll just kind of collapse and your food will fall through the grate and you'll just go to sleep hungry, unless you have some popcorn at home. But we've done it on these metal skewers, and we're going to go put it on our big green egg, because we have one. And you could put them in the oven at 500 for like 10 minutes, since it's fish. But if you did this with chicken, you put your same thing, put the chicken on the skewers. But we're going to go out and do this. A jelly jar and a silicone glove. Okay, so we put our tikka on the grill. And, oh look, that one's gotten tired. He was doing a chin up and he just couldn't finish. I didn't want these to be sticking to the grill grate here. So I have constructed, thanks to my engineering degree from Georgia Tech, just kidding, this suspension bridge of tikka. We'll see how that works out. Okay, whew. I just tasted a piece that fell off the skewer. It is delicious. So, I think my technique worked out really well. It might all fall apart when aren't they beautiful? So these were on here about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I feel like I ought to be cooking something else on this fire, because it's such a beautiful fire. Look at this fire. I just won't put a pork butt on it. All right, we're going to close her down for the moment anyway. And we're going to take these inside and top them with some cilantro. And we have the Saag Paneer, and we have the spiced potatoes. We're going to throw together a little Raita, because, you know, that's the way I operate. Papads, or papadum. These are these wonderful little Indian, I don't even know how we can translate. They're like these little frisbees of flavor and crispness. They're made of, I believe, I should know before I tell you, chickpea flour and spices. And I haven't done this before, but you know, you want to grill them. And you know, I feel just rice takes up too much space in your stomach. I do need a... But if you have a grill, this is actually turning out to be a really good way to do it. It would be nice if I had brought out the tongs. You can scoop up your food with it. You can dip it in your chutneys and your yogurts. But this is definitely the way to do it. For years I've been doing it over the gas flame, which has not been a good way to do it. But that was a first-time experiment, and it worked, people! Indian food is often very spicy, which is why most people love it. But there's an antidote to that heat in your mouth, and that is a Raita. It's a yogurt dip or topping or what have you. You can use your papadum to dip into your chutneys and your Raitas. I'm going to make this kind of a cooling one, because those potatoes are hot as H-E double hockey sticks. So I'm just going to mince up some of these vegetables. This is cucumber. And add it, I've got about a cup, maybe a little more than a cup of yogurt here. And I've got some radishes from the garden. And I'm just gonna, I don't want them to be too big of pieces, but you want them big enough that you can feel the texture. Another way you could do is to do your vegetables on a box grater. I've got some ginger here, and since we don't need that much, I'm going to get this microplane grater and just put some of this ginger. It takes a little longer when you're using a microplane, but with this small amount, I'm not putting any garlic in here because I think we've got enough I think we've got just the right amount of garlic. And I've got some mint. That will be a very nice cooling piece to this puzzle. Technique, must work on your technique. You could also put cilantro in here, but we're going to top a lot of our dishes with cilantro anyway. So this is just giving another cool herb. Some lime juice. You could use lemon juice, but something bright and citrusy is great because this is going to taste so delicious on our tikka. It's going to taste delicious on our, where's a little spoon? I'll use this cute little whisker. Have you ever seen anything so cute? My whiskers aren't cute, but my whisker is cute. Oh, and put a little salt in here because that's going to wake up all the flavors. And this is going to be what brings everything together and keeps you from running to the fire department because your mouth is on fire. Finishing touches. We all need finishing touches. We have a bunch of cilantro here. And that just tastes good on everything that we've done tonight. I'm going to give this a rough chop. I'm getting rid of some of the thicker stems. I'm coming through here. That's a little bit thick. But I mean, I think the stems have a ton of flavor and they have some nice texture. So, I mean, if you don't like all that stem, you can go through and take, the leaves off. But y'all know I'm a busy girl. I don't have time for that kind of attention. Get rid of that. But anyhow, so yeah, get some cilantro and just give it a rough chop. And this is just going to brighten everything. Cilantro is such a great ingredient for so many cuisines. We have it in our Szechuan, we have it in our Mexican, we definitely have it in our Indian. So we are going to use this to garnish pretty much everything. But we have our tikka, our fish tikka right here. We have our saag paneer. Woo, steaming. It's a dinner and a facial treatment, like all of my dishes. And here are our lovely potatoes. And I'll show you how pretty this cilantro is on the potatoes. We'll put some garam masala on that. And we have our lovely yogurt raita with cucumber, radish, ginger, mint. I don't know how to say bon appetit in Hindi, but that's what I mean. Thank you so much for watching Cooking Ala LaLa again. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't know anything about Indian cuisine, I hope you are interested and tantalized because it's wonderful, wonderful food. If you do want some of these recipes, check out the horizontheater.com. All the episodes and all the recipes are archived there. And please check us out next week for more good food and good fun.
For more information and to download all the recipes that you've seen on this episode of Cooking Ala LaLa, please visit horizontheater.com.